Hello, fantasy baseball fanatics. How you doing? Welcome to the Fantasy MDs Baseball Podcast. Today is Monday, August 22nd, 2022. This is our 47th episode already, guys. And if you've been along for the ride, if you just showed up, no matter where you are, if the MDs have helped you out at all, if you enjoyed listening to us, all we ask from you guys a little 5-star rating wherever you listen, and if you could throw in a little review, that goes a long way, and getting the MDs out there. We got the video out on Spotify now. So if you're watching on Spotify, you got the video there. We're also on the YouTube. You hit the little bell right underneath us and, subscribe. It will give you a little alert every time we drop a new video. I'm your host, as always, Dominic Martino, here with my co-host, partner in crime, my best friend, Matthew May. Matt, how we doing today, brother?
I'm doing fantastic, man.
There we
living
go.
life, good weekend. Life is good, man. How you doing?
Very nice. I'm good, man. You know what? I can't complain. I'm in first in both my leagues that are big money and very important to me. Hanging around there near the top in most of my other ones, so I'm having a pretty good year as far as fantasy goes. Hopefully we're spreading the love to everybody else and they're doing good in their leagues too. Ooh, bless you, brother. I know. Also, we got a couple of nice comments the other day. Ooh, all right, okay, man, let it out.
I got 15 more coming.
All right, and I just wanted to, we got some nice comments on YouTube the other day. I wanted to throw out a thank you to those individuals. We got a lot of love on there, and everybody, seems to be enjoying what we're doing. A lot of positivity around that note. So it's great, guys. Just stay tuned. We're going to be here until the end. We got a great action-packed episode for you today, and trust me, we're definitely going to help you get to your fantasy championships, guys. We promise you that. So, we always start, well, Matt's starting with his haterade, but, I think Matt's actually going to be hyped for the finger on the pulse today. We got a couple of young studs showing out, over the past week here. And, man, guys, I think I got to go with my boy first. And if you've been listening over the past month and a half, I think you guys might already know where I'm going. I've been beating this drum for a long time, and he's finally back, and that's Dustin May, guys. The kid was absolutely electric against, it was the Miami Marlins, but the kid hasn't pitched in well over a year. He gave up a hit, walked 2, and I believe most of that came in the first inning where he was, looking a little. I watched the whole game. He was looking a little shaky at the beginning, but then after the first inning, man, he came out and he absolutely dominated. So it was 5 innings, 9 strikeouts, as I mentioned, the hit, 2 walks. He looked great. He was throwing 99 with movement. Pinpoint command. He just looked great. I know the Marlins make a lot of pitchers look great, but Dustin May looked absolutely fantastic. I will throw this out there. He's still only owned in 70% of leagues, so he could still be out there. And trust me, he's going to be key to helping you dominate those high expectations for the kid for next year. For his career, Dustin May is only 24 years old. He has a record of 7-5 in his whole career. That's all across 20 starts, 32 total games, 2.81 ERA, 118 innings, 120 strikeouts, and a 104 whip. Matt and I were discussing this off the air, but we both feel that he has top 25 upside coming into next year as long as he stays healthy and continues to pitch the way he is. So, guys, just wanted to throw that one out there, man. Dustin May is the real deal, and he gets the Marlins again in his next start. So I look for more of the same going forward here in the next couple coming weeks for the kid. Matt, any thoughts here on Dustin May? I know we keep talking about him, but man, we gotta show the kid some love here.
Yeah, I mean, the kid's got some serious magic going off the mound there, and I'm really impressed, truthfully. He kind of just picked up where he left off before the injury last year and the beginning of this year. It's like, man, let's go. I'm very excited to see that it's showing out and didn't get destroyed by the injury, or he didn't have to struggle too much. It seems like he kind of just left off. But I mean, I think he sucked them enough dry, so I think I'll just move on to our next guy. And
Matt, take the next guy. You can have your turn on him. I know one of your boys too.
Yeah. So we're talking about somebody that I was really high on going into the year. Dom actually thought I was crazy on how high I had him.
I liked him too. Maybe not as much as you, but I'm a fan.
Right. But I said I shot my shot, and I said this is my guy, and that's Tristan Mckenzie of the Cleveland Indians. Essentially, this kid's been just straight killing it. So he had a slow start and whatnot, but then he finally just decided to click. And man, oh man, it's just been magic ever since. So let me read you off his stats real quick. So, I mean, it's just absolutely bonkers. over the last month, right? Just the last month, 40 innings, 2 wins, 42 Ks, a 2.90 ERA with a .92 WHIP. His last start, 14 Ks, 14 with a 2.57 ERA. Okay, he's had several games like that in the last month, right? So, when was the last one? On July 14th was his other
12
one.
strikeout game. Yeah, that was a
Yep.
big one.
He's had an 8 strikeout game, a 7. Like, the kid is just electric and his stuff is good. And it seems like he picked up where he left off because you remember his changes were horrendous last year. And you could, it still could happen. I mean, there's still time left for him to disappoint and get hurt again, but hopefully that's not the case. But right now, where I'm looking at him is he's looking like he may be a top 25 pitcher next year, in my opinion, because the way he's showing out hard. And I mean, the sky's the limit with this kid. I knew it coming in. And personally, I thought his other buddy on the team was going to have the same kind of year, but I was wrong. And that's Cal Quantrill, but it is what it is. But I'll take the Mckenzie all day.
Yeah, Matt. I'll chime in with you here, and you know what? We'll give the people a little preview, right? So if you guys don't know by now, I'm a huge not only fantasy baseball nerd, but just baseball nerd in general. And I've already started working on my 2023 starting pitcher rankings over here, and I will
He's
say
sick,
this.
guys. He's sick in the head.
I am sick in the head, but I have Tristan Mckenzie 22 right now, and I have Dustin May 23. So that kind of shows you right there how high I personally am on both these young studs. As Matt mentioned, a big 14 strikeout game in his last outing and against the White Sox. On the year, his numbers look great. It's a whip under 1. He has just about a strikeout per inning. He's right there. And Matt might knock me a little bit, but hey, I had him in 2020. He got the cup of coffee that year in the COVID year, and had him all year that year, and I was very, very high on him. Disappointed us last year with the 4.95 ERA with the sophomore slump, but you know what? He still had a 1.18 WHIP last year. He still had 136 strikeouts and 120 innings. So he still showed the promise. There was a little bit of issues with giving up runs, but he didn't give up too many walks, didn't give up too many hits, still striking guys out. And he has all the potential in the world. His mechanics look great. Kind of has that Chris Sale kind of release, which could be a bad thing, but it's also a very, very good thing because we know Chris Sale had a long and dominant career. I just is that the haterade for Chris Sale, Matt?
No, that was just me giving cheers.
Oh, okay. All right. I wasn't sure. But yeah, Tristan Mckenzie here, guys. Absolutely promising upside. Just going to be a very, very good pitcher for the next couple of years. Make sure you check in with us next year. We'll give you an idea of. Once again, I have him in my top 25 going into next year right now. But we'll update you guys when that time comes around. Because we're going to be on it. We'll be here with you. Stay through the off season with you guys. And keep you updated on stuff like this. So let me leave my my starting pitcher rankings and get back to the show notes here. But so next up we have all right, this guy, another young stud showing out, and he's the last one we're going to talk about, a finger on the pulse, and that's Mr. Vaughn Grissom, guys. This kid has just been absolutely electric through his first I think 10-15 games here, and he has not slowed down one bit. He went out against Max Scherzer, got a couple of hits, so that kind of shows you right there that the kid can do it. I've personally heard a lot of Juan Soto comps on him. I'm not a huge, guy in comparing other people in the way that they play to each other, but I've been hearing a lot of, people smarter than myself comping him to Juan Soto when he came up, kind of came out of nowhere. They were both top 100, but like lower in the top 100 prospects. And he just keeps doing it. I think he's only had one game where he hasn't got a hit so far. And on the year for Mr. Grissom, it is 17 hits and 43 at-bats. That's good for a 395 average, 12 runs, 3 bombs, 9 RBIs, and 2 steals. He was tearing it up in the minors as well. And the Braves are going to have a hard time when Ozzie Albies comes back because I don't know what they're going to do. I mean, honestly, this kid's got to stay in the lineup. I don't see any way that they take him out. It's just a situation where if you picked him up and you're rolling with him, he's kind of got to be an everyday guy in your lineup at this point. Once again, I'm talking about Vaughn Grissom here. He's eligible at second and short on Yahoo. He's still 68% owned, so he might be out there in your league. I would definitely go give it a check. Kind of pause the podcast moment and see if he's available in your league. And if he is, you pick him up right now, and then you come back and listen again. But this kid Von Grissom is he's the truth, guys. I believe in him. He has been hitting 6th or 7th in the lineup, so he's not really in a great spot. But once again, it's the Braves. He's going to get a good amount of RBIs. I mean, once again, 12 runs and 9 RBIs and 43 at bats is kind of outrageous already. But I can't really say much else about the kid except what, he has a lot of upside, and this could be a star in the making for Von Grissom.
Yeah, I mean, Vaughn is just absolutely monstrous. And you know what? I've learned from the Soto days, you don't question guys that just come up and translate.
Yeah.
So, I was one of those benefactors because I was one of the people that scooped up Soto in a keeper league.
I still remember that day, brother. I'll never forget that.
Yeah. And, it was a glorious, glorious day.
Hey, led you to a couple ships, my friend. Led Matt to back-to-back championships.
Yeah,
in a big money keeper league.
It's just one of those things. I don't know what's in the water in Atlanta, but it's just absolutely ridiculous. But
insane. That team's got a monster future ahead of them.
And I can see this kid moving up in the lineup, and that's when it's going to start getting dangerous. And I mean, I don't know contracts or things like that or what's going to be available for the future, but I mean, to be honest, Marcell Ozuna just got arrested for the umpteenth time, so who knows? Maybe he gets converted to outfield next year.
They should. Ozuna's outfield presence is horrible. His glove sucks.
Exactly, and this kid has the speed, so he could probably play center.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of possibilities for next year, but this kid's going to pretty much play it out at second this year for the time being. Ozzie Albies isn't going to be rushed back at this point. And this kid is just absolutely monstrous. If he keeps it up, God bless anybody who didn't get him, because you're going to get bent over 7 ways to Sunday by this kid, and you're playing fantasy playoffs this year. So, if he's available, like Dom said, scoop him up. If he's not, say a couple prayers. I don't know. Give somebody a handy or something in order for them not to play them against you. I don't know what to tell you, but
yeah, guys,
good luck.
This kid Von Grissom, man, he's the real deal. And I'll tell you this: going into next year, second and short, because that's where he's available in Yahoo. Don't know about anywhere else, but he's probably going to be a top 10, at either position. If not, maybe shortstop will be right outside the top 10. But and keepers and dynasties next year, if he's available, you definitely want to go high on the kid. He's got a lot of promise, young kid. How old is he again? Let me just check that real quick. I believe he's 22.
I saw he was 14.
Wrong. Let me just check that before we move on. How old is Grissom? He's 21, actually. So yeah, that's a big keeper dynasty league guy. And he dominated the minors as well. So we'll leave that there with Von Grissom, guys. He's the truth, real deal with him. So we'll go into the news and notes here, Matt. The routine, just cut me off if there's if I'm ranting too much or if there's anything that you would like to add. It's the reason I got on the Nats, the throwback Bryce Harper today, because we got some good news. We'll start off with my boy Bryce Harper, working his way back from that thumb and elbow, issue. So this is the plan for Bryce, according to the Phillies. He's going to start his rehab assignment on Tuesday. They're planning for him to play every day from Tuesday through Saturday. They're saying he will take Sunday off, and if all has gone well, he will join the Phillies lineup on Monday. Let's pray and hope for that. The next up, we got Mr. Shohei Ohtani. He was a little bit sick. He got removed from his start early on Sunday. Angels are saying he'll be okay to make his next start. He will make his next start according to the Angels, but he might miss a few days as the bat here. He's out today on Monday when we're recording this. Some bad news here, guys. Kind of just a lost season for this guy, and that's Juan De Franco. He's still dealing with a lingering soreness in that hand that he injured when he's swinging the bat. So he was fully removed from his rehab assignment, so he won't be playing at all, going forward until, they decide that he's ready to get back out there, and there's absolutely no timetable for that. Let's pray that Juan De Franco gets back on track. I'm going to throw out this caveat. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Vladimir Guerrero Jr.'s rookie year, where he came up and disappointed. The launch angle was low. Young guys, it's very hard to translate. That's also why we're so high on Von Grissom, because he's just translating right away, and that's really unseen these days. But as for Wander, think next year, if he comes in fully healthy, we could see a breakout for Wander, and I guarantee he'll fall in drafts. So you might be able to get Wander Franco a little bit later than you did this year, and I think that might pan out for next year. So here at the Fantasy MDs, we're wishing Juan De Franco the best. Hey, man, get healthy, get back out there. We'd love to see you next year helping fantasy teams across the land. Then we got Clayton Kershaw. He's working his way back from that back issue. He's had that bad back for a while, so I be careful with Clayton Kershaw. But he did face hitters on Monday. The Dodgers are saying that he won't need a rehab assignment. He could, Dodgers did say a return in the next 2 weeks is possible, but, keep your fingers crossed on that one because you never know with these back injuries. They've been eating a lot of guys up this year. So we'll keep you posted on Clayton Kershaw. Then we got Giancarlo Stanton working his way back from that Achilles issue. He has begun a rehab assignment already. The Yankees are saying that he could return on Thursday, but we will see. As far as I saw in his first 2 games, he's 0 for 7 so far. He's working on getting that timing down. So maybe it takes a game or 2 extra than they're assuming. But once again, Thursday is the tentative return date for Giancarlo Stanton. We got Jose Altuve is just day-to-day with a sore shoulder. He'll be back sooner than later. Then we got Luis Severino working his way back from the lat issue. He threw a 25-pitch bullpen over the weekend. He can't return until at least September 12th because the Yankees did put him on the 60-day IL. He could be ready when that date comes, though. We'll keep you updated. He might need a couple of rehab starts and, throw a couple of more bullpens before then. But we'll keep you posted. Then we got Michael Kopeck. He was removed from his start today on Monday with knee soreness. He will undergo further testing for that. We might have news for you guys on Wednesday with that one. This is an interesting one, Matt, and let's talk about this one a little bit because I know one of you boys, I saw you scooped him in our keeper league. That's Tyler Glass now, working his way back from Tommy John. He threw a 20 pitches in live BP for the first time this year. Now, here's the thing. I've heard a bunch of different news in this regard. I've heard that he might be able to make it back, to the Rays for a couple starts here down the stretch. But in my personal opinion, and I also did see some people say this as well, that it would be maybe as an opener for 2-3 innings, or they might bring him out of the bullpen. They do already have a good bullpen, so that might not be the case. So he might be he might be better as an opener for the Rays. So I'm not really sure what I would do here in a redraft. I don't know if I'm risking all that, especially with the playoffs right around the corner. But in Dynasty or Keepers, he's probably already owned. But if he is out there, you definitely got to go and snag him. Matt, I want your thoughts here on Tyler Glass now before we move on.
So it depends on the league. So like if you're like a 5-keeper or an 8-keeper league, he might be there. So, because I don't think somebody's just going to hold him for that one. It's like a half redraft. So you might be able to scoop him up off waiver. He's definitely worth it. It's speculative to see how he is.
24% owned on Yahoo. Just want to throw that out there. He's out there.
So he's totally out there. And the other thing I look at is, the thing that solidified, Verlander for why we ranked him so high preseason was for the fact that he showed that he still had it coming back, right? And he looked really good. So if Glassy comes out, who cares what his position is, but he comes out and starts doing what Verlander did, and then you think about coming into next year, the Kick probably would have been the number 1 pitcher going into this year if he didn't, get Mr. TJ.
Some high praise.
Dude, I mean, come on now. If you remember right before he got hurt, he was absolutely monstrous.
He was dominating in 2021 before he went down. I'll pull up those exact numbers, by the way.
Yeah.
Why you keep ranting, Matt.
But the kid is a serious talent. And, it's one of those things where, he's like, he's an otherworldly when he's healthy. And yeah, he hasn't had a full season yet, but he's due. And something about younger players, especially with pitchers, right? They take some time to develop. They take some time to actually get good. Like look at Bauer, right? Bauer was so up and down until his 29-year-old season. He was always Mr. Gadget Man, Mr. Fix. He always had to fix his thing, and he finally figured out what really worked. And he was consistent for a couple of years. It's not the same thing, but it's just how pitchers develop. It's whether it's injuries or this or that. And now he's in his man body. He now has his elbow fixed. Maybe this is part of his degenerate problems and also had 13 months off of baseball. So that next year he has some serious praise. But essentially, it's going to come up later down the line. We're not ready for this show, but he's going to be on that list of guys that if you're out of it or if you're looking for next year and you're in a keeper league, he's one of those people I'm going to say run and go pick up because he's definitely worth a stash. If your pitching staff isn't wonderful going in for your keeper situation, it's definitely worth that ad because next year that value is going to be there. He's going to be a problem. If he even shows it's a speculative of what he was last year, a spec, he's in my top 25 next year. No question.
I agree with you on you. That's a very, very good breakdown, my brother. I think you broke that down very, very well in the sense of in Dynasty and Keepers, if he's out there, you definitely, I would even say even if you're in first place, right, and you have the space on your IL right now, you pick him up and you just see where this thing goes, right? Because he does have the upside. In 2021, Tyler Glasnow, 5 wins, 2 losses, 2.66 ERA, 14 starts, 88 innings, 123 strikeouts in those 88 innings, and an 0.93 whip. So that was his 27-year-old season. That was his coming out party until unfortunately he got the TJ, right? And he wasn't as good in 2020, but that's the COVID season. You kind of throw that out the window. But then I also want to point out in 2019, 6 wins, 1 loss, 1.78 ERA, 12 starts for Glasnow, 60 innings, 76 Ks, and an 0.89 whip. So that's the upside. The upside is, as Matt said, top 20 pitcher in the league. He's very, very talented. He has great fastball. He has good breaking stuff, good curveball. So he has the talent to do it. My only issue is, going into next year, right? So once again, we covered if, he's out there, you snag him, you put him on your IL. Now, if we want to talk about keeping him, as Matt said, does he look healthy in spring training? How far does he come this year? Look at Luis Severino. I know he's banged up again this year, but he was dominant. He was very, very good, and he showed us that last year. At the end of last year, he pitched in a couple of games, showed us that he could still do it, looked good in spring training. He was throwing the fastball. Once again, breaking stuff looked good. So let's see where Glasnow goes this year as far as coming into next year. In redrafts, I don't know how far I'm going out of my way to get him. If I have the IL spot, maybe you stash him if it's open. If the IL is open and you don't got too many guys, you stash him and you see where it goes. But as for this year, I don't know how much he's going to help you. So with Glasnow, it's more of seeing what he can help you with next year, right? So we don't want to go too far into Glasnow, but that, I think Matt had a great breakdown on Glasnow here. So we'll keep it moving with the news and notes. With that being said, this one's a little disappointing. Vinny P, the Italian breakfast guy, was breaking out and doing all home runs, 3-hit games, doing it all. He was removed from today's game after taking a swing. Apparently his shoulder was bothering him a little bit. He did come out and say it's not a big deal, but I want to hear the trainer say that as well. He's going to go for further testing. We should have an update for the Italian breakfast, Vinny Pasquantino of the Kansas City Royals on Wednesday for you guys. Then we got Sir Anthony Dominguez with the tricep issue. You don't like to hear that at all. He was placed on the 15-day IL. The test did come back negative. The MRIs and the X-rays came back negative. But, he still could have some lingering soreness in that tricep for a while.
You want to talk about bad phalanges?
Yeah. Somebody who's definitely been banged up. The Phillies said he might be eligible when he's first might be eligible to be activated, when he's ready to come back in 15 days. But I wouldn't hold my breath on that one. I would kind of, just have a backup plan ready, when we got you covered in the waiver wire segment. Then we got Patrick Wisdom of the Cubs. He's day to day with a finger issue. And the last one here is Brian Hayes could return when you guys are listening to this on Tuesday. Also a guy with a back issue. We got a lot of that this year. So with that being said, we'll move into the news and notes. We'll move from the news and notes into the waiver wire. Yeah, so first up here, it's just kind of like an honorary type of thing. And also he's been dominant of late. And that's Albert Pujols, guys. If you haven't been paying attention, the chase for 700 is on. It might happen this year. Pujols said he's still going to retire at the end of the year, but he is at 692. He's 8 home runs away from that 700 number, that 700 club. As somebody who's just been, watching baseball and playing fantasy, the last, 15, 20 years, man, I'm a huge Albert Pujols fan. I remember when he was the number 1 pick in fantasy, but he's been on absolute tear lately. Let me get these last 2 weeks numbers here for you guys, because he's been on a heater. So for the last 2 weeks, Albert Pujols, 7 runs, 6 home runs, 13 RBIs, hitting 556. That is not a fluke, guys. It's 556. That's 15 hits and 27 at bats. He's 21% owned on Yahoo. It looks like St. Louis might start playing him every day, or at least every other day, because I know he was getting 2 days off, playing 2 days, getting 2 days off. With the heater he's on and the chase for 700, I think he might start playing a lot more. I think there's this down the stretch he could really help your fantasy teams. As I said, it's kind of honorary, but he also deserves to be in the segment right now. 21% owned on Yahoo for Albert Pujols. First base, I know first base is gotten a little bit shaky, here in the second half, and he's already got a hit today. So you know what? On the year, his numbers look good though. It's not even like it's not even like they don't, because I'm gonna read them here for you in a second. On the year, Albert Pujols, 25 runs, 13 bombs, 37 RBIs, a steal, hitting 273, and that's in only 198 at-bats. So I know those numbers don't sound monstrous, but in 198 at-bats, I'll take all of that. They're playing the Cubs here, and then they got the Cubs for the next 5 games. So the Cubs pitching is not very good, except the one man that we will talk about, coming up in the arm segment. Man, I love Albert Pujols, and I think he will help you going forward. I truly do.
Yeah, I mean, he's one of those people that's like a ride the wave kind of type deal right now. I mean, Paul is just going to end up trying to get that 700 and then probably die off. But I'm fine with that because, I mean, it's hitting more home runs. And
hey, juice the orange.
Amen to that, man. And you know what? Everybody needs power these days. Power is so hard to come by, and he's providing it right now. Let's rock out with him. But, I'm just going to say good for him. But now I want to talk about somebody with the awesome last name. All right. Mr. Candy Bar himself. All right. Mr. Newt Bar.
Another St. Louis Cardinal.
Yeah. And Mr. Newt Bar, Mr. Candy Bar.
Hey, Matt, real quick, I don't know if you know this, but I don't know if it's out yet, but he did trademark his last name, and they are making a Newt Bar, a large Newt Bar candy bar. I don't know if you heard that.
I love it. I'm gonna
yeah. I just wanted to throw that out there for you. I thought that would get you excited.
Hey Lars, sponsor us.
Yeah, right. Hey Lars, we love you. You're a great young player, absolute stud. We will promote the Newt Bar on this podcast. If anyone could get that information out there to him, let them know.
Yeah, let them know. We'll take care of it. We'll be the marketing team. How you doing? But anyway, Mr. Newt Bar himself has had the most monstrous week I've seen in a while in fantasy baseball. Right?
Oh yeah.
Bro, last week, 11 runs, 2 bombs, 6 ribbies, batting .353. How you doing?
Did he throw in a steal?
No.
Okay, I thought he might have chipped one in.
No.
He can steal bases, guys. He can.
He's got 3 on the year and 164 at bats, but 2 over the last month. So it's something to say.
Exactly.
The kid's young, kid's looking good, and he looks like he's going to be around to stay. And if he can keep it going, let's go 22% on. And if he's going to start showing this kind of counting stats and power in that lineup, how you doing? That's going to be some fantasy gold, possibly just some fantasy championships. He's somebody, too, that, if you're on the hairy edge like I am right now, you're having a bad year because of the Cooley and Soto. And, you're just one of those people that just need to make that push to try and get that playoffs. He's somebody that can really help you do it. Personally, he's my number 1 waiver wire ad this year. So, this week. So I would 100% go and scoop him.
Yeah, man, I agree with you as far as waiver wire bats for the week. I'll put Newt Bar up there at number 1 as well because you know what? He's, as Matt pointed out, he's been showing out of late. On the year, numbers aren't fantastic, but they're serviceable. He wasn't playing every day up until like the past 2 weeks, so that kind of throws off your rhythm and stuff. So don't be fooled by 244 batting average. That doesn't really mean too much to me. When over the past 2 weeks he's been hitting well over 300. The runs are obviously there. The thing is, he's been hitting either first or ninth. They're going back and forth. I believe he hits first against lefties and he hits ninth against righties. Either way, that Cardinals lineup is absolutely fantastic. And as Matt said earlier with the Braves, there's something in the water. I think there's something in the water there in St. Louis because they've done nothing but spin out, a great prospect so far this year. I'm very, very impressed with their farm system. And I think Lars Newt Bar is just another one of those guys. As I said with Albert Pujols, they're playing the Cubs for the next few games where the pitching is not going to be very good. I'm sure he's going to be leading off for a few of those games. Those runs are going to be there. He could steal you a couple bags. He's even hitting those RBIs too. So you know what? If you need some help at outfield, you give Lars Newt Bar. I like the Candy Bar, Matt. That's what we're going to call him. You go give the Candy Bar an ad because you know what? He's definitely worth it. So I'm going to throw out another guy here for you guys. And this guy's a catcher. Actually, I believe he was drafted by the Braves too. So you know what? We're just going to keep giving the Braves credit here. But that's Shea Langoliers, a catcher for the Oakland Athletics.
Chandelier.
And, yeah. He's hanging from the chandeliers right now, man, because he's been on a tear of late. He got the call on August 16th to the Bigs, and he's been pretty good since then. Not great, but good. And he also plays catcher, by the way. So if you need a catcher out there, Mr. Langoliers is had 6 hits, 19 at bats. That's good for a .316 batting average, 4 runs, 1 home run, 4 RBIs. I like the kid. And once again, catcher has been a very difficult position this year. I know I've been having a little trouble with it in most of my leagues. Langoliers is 14% owned on Yahoo. And he was a pretty highly touted prospect. I believe I know he was in the top 100, but I want to say top 50 as well. He was doing pretty good down in the minors this year in AAA this year, 92 games for Shea Langoliers, 62 runs, 19 bombs, 56 RBIs, even chipped in 5 steals as a catcher, hit 283. He's 24 years old. So you know what? He's young. He's got, a bright future ahead of him. And there's not too much more I could say about Mr. hanging from the Shea Langoliers, over here. Just if you need a catcher, 14% owned on Yahoo, give him an ad. I'll say that much.
Yeah, I mean, hey, in 19 at bats, he's killing it. I mean, he's definitely worth the speculative ad. And personally, I'm just looking at this. It's my number one motto on this show. Adding average off the waiver wire is hard to come by.
Yeah, and it helps, man, especially at catcher.
You got to ride that wave. Amen to that. Catcher's even worse. It's just not happening. I think I should get a shirt made.
Yeah. I'll tell you guys this. We might have some cool merch for you guys, next year. But we're taking it slow in our rookie year. We're just trying to be in the competition for rookie of the year as far as fantasy baseball pods go. And we hope you guys feel the same about us.
It depends, if Newt Bar decides to sponsor us, or if you guys decide to, tell your friends and stop hiding the secret gem, which is the MDs.
Yeah.
Maybe you could do this as our full-time job, and
that would be wonderful.
Yeah, and then my wife would get off my back about that hour I take away from the both of them, and I can get paid for this. But anyway, let me stop begging for money. But anyway,
we'll do that in the off season, Matt. We'll get back to that in the off season.
Exactly. Well, Mr. Langoliers hanging from the chandeliers over here. Looks good. Definitely worth that speculativeness. And truthfully, I mean, there's not much I can really say about the guy. We'll see what brings, what the rest of the season brings. So, let's move on to this next guy. Mr. Arroyo. Okay.
Christian Arroyo, Boston Red Sox. Hey, how you doing?
So, and I got the wrong Arroyo up here. Hold on, I apologize.
I'll just throw this out there while Matt's looking this up, guys. Christian Arroyo, 9% owned on Yahoo. He's eligible at second, third, shortstop, and outfield. So if you need help at any of those positions, he's out there.
Boston should really talk to him about playing first and catcher, just so we can get everything.
He might as well do the Shohei Ohtani too and just pitch.
Yeah, I mean, you're really just missing like three things. Like, let's figure that out. Come on, Boston. But anyway, I mean, he's looking good. My motto again. I'm not even going to say it, but last week from the position of second base specifically and third, which are both future positions, getting that 370 batting average, along with some counting stats, is real nice. I mean, Boston ain't nothing to snuff at these days, but at the same time, they're still all getting the job done. And you know what this kid looks like? He found a way to play every day, and that's playing every position. So, he's that water boy at the position, so everybody can catch a break. Yeah. But I mean, hey, he's that 9% owned. He may be worth a shot, especially if you're hurting. Let's scoop him up if you can. He's low priority, but if he keeps this up and keeps building those counting stats, he may be somebody we're talking about on Thursday between now and then.
Yeah, man, I fully agree with you on everything you said. He's not on the top of my ad list, but you know what? He's definitely worth it. He plays, as we said, plays 4 positions. In your 15s and your 12s, he should definitely be owned, in my opinion. Somebody should have him in a 15-man league and a 12-man league as well. Since August 17th, Mr. Christian Arroyo has 3 3-hit games, so that's nothing to I'm a little excited about that, actually. That's 9 hits, in 5 days here, a couple RBIs. It looks like 5 RBIs, 3 runs. The guy can steal a base. If you're hurting at any of these middle infield positions or outfield, he's going to help you. As Matt said, Boston Red Sox haven't been great, but you know what, man, this kid's been a bright spot for the team. Once again, Christian Arroyo, 9% owned on Yahoo. Go out there and grab him. I think he will help, once again, probably a juice to orange situation. So if somebody else that's a little bit better than him gets it going, you could feel free to drop him. But hey, if he, winds up being good, he could help you hit down the stretch. But let's transition in here into some starting pitching. Where do I want to go first with this one? We got, what, guys, we have a few names that we've talked about, a little bit, so we're not going to really go too deep in a lot of these guys, but let me be controversial here. And, cause I know Matt's going to go back and forth with me about this guy. Let's talk about Jack Flaherty, guys. You know what? He's actually, Matt, I don't know if you've seen it, but he's actually been dominating down there in the minors so far, you know, in his little rehab.
That's wonderful.
Here. So let me just throw out those numbers here for you guys. Once again, we've talked about Jack Flaherty a lot, but you know what? He's been doing very well. Matt's got the haterade. He's shaking. If you guys aren't watching, you know, he's out there shaking the haterade. But I will say this. So far, Jack Flaherty has had 5 minor league rehab starts. He's got a 3 ERA, 15 innings, 22 strikeouts, only 2 walks, and that's leading to an 0.86 ERA. I mean, 0.86 whip, 0.86 whip with a 3 ERA. So you know what I've been saying about Jack Flaherty is when he's healthy, he is definitely a top 20, 25 pitcher in the league. But the thing is, as we all know, those phalanges are a little bit weak. He still is 26 years old, so let's not write the kid off yet. I believe, let me check if that ownership has gone up since this morning, but I saw 50. Okay, so it's gone up 1%. 56% owned here for Jack Flaherty. I know the numbers haven't been great on the year, but it's only 8 innings, you know, and they were kind of trying to rush him back with that shoulder. Hopefully he has gotten enough time, you know, to you know, get everything right. I hope so, and I know Matt deep down, you know, wants to see the kid do good, you know, because we both like Jack Flaherty here. But once again, I hope it's not a deeper issue. I hope it's not he comes back, you know, has a good start, and then, you know, the next one he goes 2 innings and he starts grabbing on the shoulder and it has banged him up. I know Matt's alluded to this. He could need surgery. I'm not 100% sure, but kind of just wish him well. And I think at this point he is worth the IL spot if you have it, because I think he might be back within the next couple of weeks here if everything, you know, winds up going good. He actually did get stretched out to 90 pitches in his last rehab start as well. So, Matt, I know you got the haterade there, but let me hear some thoughts on Jack Flaherty.
So, I mean, I'm just going to say this. He's been playing with a torn shoulder for quite some time, for the last 3 years. I think that it's finally catching up to him. I mean, I understand, you know, everybody wants him to play. And he's a really good talent. I love the kid. I think he's a great pitcher. But the problem is I think that the team is doing him a disservice by not, you know, just taking the time and getting the right treatment. Okay? So personally, I just think that this is just all bad news. I think that, yeah, he could feel good now, but I don't think he's going to finish out the season. I think he's going to get hurt very soon, unfortunately. And I think now what they did was instead of just keeping him out this year and just leaving him out, now he's going to have trouble coming back for next year. He's going to end up getting surgery. Rotator cuff for a normal human being that doesn't throw the ball 99 miles an hour is usually about 6 months. Imagine a guy for 99 miles an hour, what you have to do to get your shoulder back that way. Yeah. Might even be another year. It's a terrible, terrible rehab too. I feel bad for him what he's about to go through, but hey, this is the scenario that your team has put you in, and this is what usually ruins guys' careers when they don't allow people to just, you know, actually mend their wounds. And you can do all the shots you want, and it's just not going to do it for him. So unfortunately, Jack is not going to be it. But he's worth an ad, because if I'm wrong, you know what? You'll be better off that you listen to Dom and me right now, where I'm saying just pick him up as speculative. And if he crashes and burns, dump him.
Yeah, I think that's the case, because I agree with you in the sense of that it could be a deeper issue. It could be, it could be shoulder surgery coming up here for Mr. Flaherty, which I don't think anybody wishes it upon him, but it's just the truth of the situation is that he's been trying to work through this for such a long time that something's got to give at some point, whether it's everything is back to normal with the treatment that they've given him and the routine that he's going through. Maybe he's worked on a different release point of something of the sort, because he does look better here in his little rehab goings across those 5 starts. But you know what? I think bottom line is, if you have the IL spot, he's definitely worth to throw on there for now and just see where it goes. If he winds up getting the surgery, then you deal with it when you cross that bridge, because there's not a lot of IL stashes right now. I know I had an open IL spot in one of my big leagues, and, a very competitive league. So I'm looking around. I'm like, oh, who could I stash? And absolutely nobody was there. There's no Jack Flaherty anymore. There's no Dustin May. There's nobody like that. So if he is available in your league, I think he's at least worth a shot. Matt, who's up next for us though? Matt, who you looking at over there? Who you think we should talk about next?
So here's somebody I brought up in the past, and last time I recommended him, he kind of outright took a dump on you guys, and I apologize, but we did talk about him last week as well, and that's Mr. Justin Steele.
There we go.
Steele.
That's where I thought you were going to. I already got it pulled up. Good.
Yeah.
We're in sync.
We always are, my friend. You know, that's only
That's the truth.
14 years of friendship over here.
Exactly.
But he comes out against Milwaukee and doesn't give up a run. Only has a .5 WHIP with 9 Ks in 6 innings. This is the stuff I thought he was going to do. The kid actually has some serious talent. He's a young arm, so he's going to have his ups and downs. But he's been consistent over his last 3 starts. The start before that on August 16th, 5 Ks, no earned runs.
Matt, I'm gonna say this, dude. He's been consistent for his last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Right.
6, 7, 8. His last 9 starts have all had 3 earned runs or less. By the way, just wanted to throw that out there.
The last month is actually ridiculous. In
Yeah, he's
26
been
innings,
very good.
39 Ks, and a .68 ERA with a 110 WHIP. So like this is somebody that's been low key, just straight killing it, putting in the grind, 34% owned, and it doesn't seem to slow down. So you know what? He might have burned you earlier in the year with the recommendation. But I'm gonna tell you right now, he's ready to bounce back and make this right. And I think he has some serious upside for the end of the year. If he keeps this up, I mean, shoot, he may be in my top 40 pitchers because I want to see it again.
Yeah.
He's also on the Cubs. I'm not going to be too bullish about him, but he's an out of nowhere kind of player, and I'm really excited to see it. This kid is looking really good, and you know what? Totally worth it.
Yeah, man, I agree with you. As I pointed out there, I didn't even realize it until I just looked at his game log, but he's been super consistent down the stretch here. Just like I said, his last 9 starts, 3 earned runs or less in all of them, and it's just very impressive for Mr. Justin Steele. I will point this out. In 2021 in the minors, Justin Steele, 9 games, 5 starts, a 1.32 ERA, 27 innings, 29 Ks, and a 0.98 WHIP. So, he's shown the potential. And then this year, on the year, once again, Justin Steele. I mean, the Cubs, don't not the win-loss record. That's the team, not him. 4 wins, 7 losses, but a 3.25 ERA, 23 starts. 113 innings, 120 Ks. The WHIP is a little high though with the 1.34, but you know what? He's 26 years old. His first full year in the bigs. He did get 20 games last year, 9 starts, but it was only 57 innings. I think he has a lot of upside, especially as Matt said going into next year. I'll have him probably top 50, maybe for top 55. If he keeps it up, maybe even a little bit higher. But I really like what Justin Steele has shown so far this year. In his next start, it looks like he might get St. Louis, so that might be a real test here. I think it's to add him. If you need the start, you need the strikeouts, I'll throw him out there. But hey, if you could hold them back and see how that one goes, that might be the safe route, with Justin Steele against the St. Louis Cardinals, because those Cardinals just beat up on everybody, to be honest with you. That lineup goes deep. Oh, sorry, something just fell over here, but it's
he's also due. He's due for a light-up game too. So I mean, this may be the one. May not be like the right recommendation for the week, but he is somebody that I'm saying, hey.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what he has down the stretch. He might help you, make his way to, make your playoff run here. Look nice. So next, let's go with someone we've talked about before. As I mentioned, a lot of these guys we've talked about, but you guys aren't adding them enough to get us that 60% threshold here. And this guy's actually just came back not too long ago. Let's talk about Ross Stripling, Toronto Blue Jays. Guy has really attractive numbers here on the year, to be honest with you. Somebody who was very impressive when he was with the Los Angeles Dodgers seems to be picking it up again this year. Once again, Ross Stripling, only 38% owned on Yahoo. He's going up against Boston, I believe, tonight, but he gets the Angels this weekend. So, not a great team. Shohei Ohtani might not be in the lineup, so he might luck out there. But on the year, Ross Stripling, 89 innings, 74 Ks, 5 wins, threw in a save at some point, a 2.93 ERA and a 1.03 WHIP. I mean, this guy's on your waiver wire with those kind of numbers. What's going on? I mean, he's gotta be more owned. He's very, very impressive pitcher. If Baseball Reference wants to work with me,
they never do.
I just wanted to get that year where he really. Yeah, they never do. But when they do, they help a little bit. So, he had from 2016 to 2019 with the Dodgers, he had an ERA under 4 every year. He mixed in a 3.02 ERA in 2018. He was an all-star in 21 starts, 3.02 ERA, 122 innings, 136 Ks with a 1.18 WHIP. He's a very impressive pitcher. I know he's getting a little bit older. He's 32 years old now. Not a young kid anymore. But man, it looks like he's finally got things back on track with here with Toronto. And if he's out there on the waiver wire, he's not the number one ad, but you know what? He's right up there. He's 1A. He's 1A, and I love the numbers. And definitely you need to go out there and get him for that that Angels matchup going into this weekend.
Yeah, Free the Strip is finally here.
Yeah, I like that.
Because I mean, my man needed to go streaking a while ago. But it's just one of those things too, where, like, when he was on the Dodgers, the product of one of the people that kind of got the butt end of being on the Dodgers system, where you never really got the shot. So
he got the Kenta Maeda.
Yeah, and you know what? Kenta put it out there and kind of showed it for 1 year, but then couldn't keep it going. And Ross has just been one of those dudes that's just been burned by it as well. He's like, it's just upsetting. But I mean, he's with the stats right now. You kind of got to scoop him up because you know what? There's not really a lot of pitching out there. We're pointing out some guys, but at the same time, like the percentages are really hard to come by.
I just think it's crazy that 30% owned with a guy with a 2 ERA and a 103 WHIP.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, guys. You can't take that on your team.
Yeah, no, it's just rough, man. It's blown away at this point. But let's move on to this
who's
next
up next,
guy.
Matt? Who's up next?
Mr. Kirby. Sorry, the wife is texting me. She's just, she's like, "What are you guys doing? What are you guys doing?" See, this is why you guys get a pass.
Yeah, guys, we need your help.
Yeah. Not you particularly, but
Mr. George Kirby.
Yeah. Mr. Kirby.
Mr. Kirby here, though. I know we've talked about him a little bit. Matt, here, go ahead. What are your thoughts on Kirby here?
I mean, he's killing it over the last month with a 2.73 ERA, 31 Ks in 26 innings with 3 Ws and a 110 WHIP. You know what? I think he's back at it. He's back to the lab again, like Eminem would once say. And he's killing it. So, I mean, the last start wasn't too hot. He got lit up a little bit. That was against the Angels, but to be expected. His next start is against Washington, so that's the real killer right there. That's on the 24th, which is in 2 days. So, I would definitely run and go scoop him out. It's going to be a great matchup. Washington's absolutely pathetic. And you know what? It's going to be magic. It's going to be a nice little fantasy glory for you.
Yeah, guys. George Kirby, 50% owned on Yahoo. On the year, 3.47 ERA, 120 WHIP, 90 innings, 93 Ks, and 5 wins. Very impressive. That Seattle team has a very good future ahead of them. Once again, he reminds me of another Seattle Mariner from last year, Mr. Logan Gilbert, who also had, a pretty solid rookie year. Just, something in the water there with the pitches for, the Mariners because, 2 years in a row, very, very good young pitchers. Go out there and get George Kirby, guys. 50% owned, snag him up, and, that's that on him. So we're going to go into our last starting pitcher here, and I'm not even going to go too deep because we've talked about him a lot, and you guys already know, so you need to go out there and get him. Jesus Luzardo, 54% owned. He gets Oakland on the 24th. So, I mean, why is he only 54% owned? Again, 3.44 ERA on the year for Luzardo. He even held his own against the Dodgers in his last outing, 6.1 innings, 7 Ks, 1.42 ERA, 0.95 WHIP. Luzardo, just the future ahead of this kid is absolutely outrageous. Once again, another guy could be a top 30 starting pitcher next year. And 52 innings, 65 Ks, 105 WHIP. I can't say enough about this kid. 3 wins on that Marlins team that doesn't win too many games. But, Matt, just any thoughts on Luzardo here before we push it into the end here with the closes?
I mean, the four-eyed monster is just going to be killing it now. That's my new nickname for him.
I like it.
I'm all about it. I mean, we've been praising Luzardo for this whole year.
Pick him up.
Yeah, you got to scoop him up. I was saying it before the All-Star break. You really need to scoop him before he breaks out. And look what he's doing. He's just breaking out, just like we always say.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, but let's hit them closers.
Let's wrap it up real quick with these closers, my brother.
Yep, I'm scooping up the guy right here. I actually scooped him up this morning, funny enough, and that's Mr. Fairbanks here. Tampa Bay Rays closer. It looks like he's got the last 2. He's looking really good. 19% owned. On the last week, he has 3 Ks, 2 saves, no earned runs, and a .27 WHIP. I mean, that's solid production. And it looks like he's going to have the job for quite some time unless he blows it up. It's his to lose. So let's ride it out, ride the wave, because you know what? Opportunity means everything when it comes to save opportunities.
Yeah, man. Fully on board with you there with Mr. Pete Fairbanks, Fairbanks. I'm not sure what he likes to go by. I'm seeing Pete a lot here, and I wrote down Peter, so I don't know why I did that. But you know what? Career, he's pretty solid. 28 years old. Career 3.84 ERA, 103 innings, a lot of strikeouts, 140 strikeouts. Whip isn't great on the career, but this year the whip is 0.86. He looks very good. I will throw out this. The Rays like to mix and match a little bit. I know Jason Adam had got some saves mixed in there, but it looks like, Fairbanks got the last two here. 19% owned on Yahoo. He's definitely my number one closer pickup, for this week by far. Guys, go out there and snag this dude if you need some saves. We'll keep it pushing. Somebody that I've talked about before on the podcast, and that's Kyle Finnegan. He's actually been very, very good since he's got the, closing job there in Washington. On the year, Mr. Kyle Finnegan, just those numbers look a lot better than last time I checked. It's a 3.26 ERA, a 1.13 whip, 49 innings, 51 Ks, 7 saves, 4 wins. So you know what? He's mixing in those wins and those saves at the end of games for the Nationals. I know they don't win too many, but hey, when they are, they're going to be close, and Kyle Finnegan's going to be either getting a winner or a save for you in those situations. 35% owned for Mr. Finnegan. So go out there and snag this guy too. Very, very talented, pitcher so far this year. He's very impressive to me.
I mean, the key is he's gotten 3 saves last week. Now, it's probably not going to happen this week, but I mean, if he could probably get one for you, and you know what? If you're hurting on the saves department, he's definitely worth an ad because even one this week would be nice. So, he's definitely worth it. But I mean, it looks like you got a slash line of 2 guys. Why don't you take this?
I'll start this one out here, my brother. I appreciate it. So the thing is, in San Diego, we did a finger on the pulse on this maybe 2 weeks ago. Josh Hader has been taken out of the closer's role. I hate to say I told you so, but the fantasy MDs kind of pointed that one out to you. We did a whole intro of one of our episodes about what's wrong with Josh Hader, and Matt and I sat there. We broke it down. We kind of said things could get back on track, but it's no guarantee. He's got like a 16 ERA since joining the Padres. They gave up a lot to go get him. We even questioned that. We said, hey, did they give up too much to go out there and get him? And it kind of looking that way right now. Hader's getting a little bit older, but to give you guys advice as far as closing goes. It looks like they're going to mix and match Luis Garcia. Once again, the Padres are going to mix and match Luis Garcia and Nick Martinez. I'm not sure 100% which way they're leaning. It looks like Nick Martinez pitched a couple days in a row, got a save there, and then on the 20th, I don't think he was eligible to pitch because he had pitched a couple days in a row, and then Luis Garcia gets the save, that day. So I would say maybe it's Nick Martinez number 1 and Luis Garcia number 2, but that's just pretty speculative. I'll throw out both the numbers on the year, and I'll let you guys make the decision. So Luis Garcia first, 45 innings, 4 wins, 3 saves, 48 Ks, 3.40 ERA, and a 1.24 whip. And Nick Martinez, Nick Martinez, 90 innings, 3 wins, 5 saves, 79 Ks, 3.10 ERA, 1.29 whip. So if I had to snag one, maybe Nick Martinez, but it's no guarantee. That's the way I'm leaning right now. Matt, I don't know if you feel differently, but I would kind of just, if you're really desperate for saves, 15-man league, 12-man league, deep, you go out there and you snag which one you feel better about. If I had to pick one, Nick Martinez for me.
I'm right there with you. I think Nick Martinez got the job as of right now. It's gonna be whoever gets blown up first is essentially gonna lose the job. So it's a wait and watch. Let's just hope it's Luis Garcia.
Yeah.
And go from there. But I think we wrap it up, guys. Tell your friends, tell everybody. Post it on Facebook, post it on Instagram, follow us, give us reviews, give us a follow, a subscribe. Anything under the sun would help us out. I know fantasy football is back in, but we still got playoffs and championship and money wins. So
guys, this is a bad time to stop paying attention. So this is the worst time of year. I know last Matt said football starts and everyone starts to tune out on baseball, but this is the worst time to do that, guys. You got money at stake. This is, it still means something here. You got to kind of mix and match with both. But as Matt said, we appreciate all the love we've gotten this year. Don't think we haven't. But once again, if you could spread the love, it means a lot. But we'll catch you guys on Wednesday. Until then,
peace.
See ya.